Hello, welcome. I thought I'd do a video on concentrated versus dispersed since you guys all seem to like the video on building one civilian factory at a time versus building to the max in each state. So I've set up a little test. We're going to be using 1941 industry tech, one test run with concentrated industry, one with dispersed industry. I'm using 1941 because I find the make or break point in your game is going to happen while you have 1941 tech. The game might end after you've gotten 1943 tech, but you've already won or lost by that point. So somewhere between this 1939 and 1941 tech that the game is really decided in most playthroughs. So we're going to use 1941 tech. I have deleted Germany's starting army. They have no equipment, deleted all of their equipment in stockpile. And what we're going to do is just start a production line of infantry equipment 1, set it to 28 factories, and let it go for 2 years. And I'm going to do that for concentrated. I'm going to do that for dispersed. And then I'm going to do it again. And at the 1 year mark, I'm going to switch to infantry equipment 2. And having already done all of that, it produces these results. So for test run 1, this is where we start a new production line and just let it run for 2 years. I have the results starting from month 10. I didn't bother with all the months before that because dispersed is better in the short run. Everyone knows that. It's how much of a short run. So as you can see from the graph, it's month 15 where concentrated pulls even with dispersed. And then from there on out, it slowly gains an edge until it crosses the 18th month, which is a year and a half. That's where the difference starts to become kind of noticeable until you get to the end, and after 2 years, you've produced 13,000 more guns. So this is really confirming what is known. If you're going to use concentrated in the long run, it is going to be better if you don't change your production lines. Dispersed is better if you do change your production lines. And this setup also works for new factories because every factory's production efficiency is tracked independent. So when you have 20 factories on one production line, if you get a 21st factory and you were to create a new production line versus adding it to the existing production line, your output is the same. It doesn't matter. So as you build up your industry, you're going to get more out of dispersed to start with. And then in the long run though, but in the long run, you'll get more out of concentrated. Now this assumes you don't ever change your production. That's what test run 2 is for. That is, after a year, we switch to gun 2. Up to 12 months, you have the same result. Also, all of these numbers are truncated to the hundreds place. I didn't bother with the last 2 digits. That's why they all end in 2 zeros. And that produces this result. And this is your total production of infantry equipment 1 plus infantry equipment 2. And as you can see, up to month 12, it's kind of even. Similar to this, just a little bit off. And then month 13, it kind of stagnates because that's when you switch. But then dispersed is just steadily ahead for the next year and a half. I went up to month 30 here. I was expecting concentrated to close this gap a little bit sooner, but it didn't. The other thing this graph really demonstrates is just how important production efficiency is compared to factory output. This entire way through the chart, concentrated is going to have 20% more factory output, and it doesn't matter. If you switch production, you're going to need over a year and a half to catch up. So I've just added on the side here a pretty simple rate of change calculation. Just take the difference between the two and see how much changed in that month. This month here, month 25, is really interesting. I've double checked the numbers, but the fact that it just reverses trend for a month makes no sense. Either way, at the bottom here, it stabilizes at 1,300 a month. So this is going to be month 35, which is 23 months from having switched production lines, because this is 24 months. After 24 months, you'll have 2,000 more infantry equipment. But in the middle here, you're going to be 10,000 short. So really, dispersed is better if you're going to produce new equipment. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you stick around, I will give you a time lapse of the 4 tests, just in case you don't believe me, think I did something wrong, or maybe you just want to see it for yourself.